today's video, we're going to be looking at the three new companions, Kasim, Baron Mordo, and Ghostwriter. We're going to be talking about the abilities themselves, how they're worded in the descriptions, how they're playing in the game, as well as what game modes you may want to use them. Before jumping to the video, I just wanted to thank everybody because we're about to hit 2,200 subscribers on YouTube. I don't know what to say. Mostly started this just to put out information, and people just seem to love it. Let me know in the comments down below what you want to see for my 2,000 subscriber celebration. Let's get into it. So all my companions are not maxed out, but they're at a usable level, so I was able to test them, and anything I was not able to test, I had several other people test that I trust. So if we jump right into it, Ghostwriter, big boy on town. So his collection bonus is EXP, that's whatever. His bonus effect at 5 stars attack, at 6 stars defense. As you can see, it's 2.25 for the attack, 4.5 for the defense. When you bring him up to 6 star, it'll be 4.5 for both. So putting him on your tray is okay. I'd rather boost other stats. If we look at his skill, the only thing that scales on his skill is the damage, none of the actual effects. But if we look right here, activates on burn or burn stack. This is deceiving. It's working on burns such as Black Widow or Iron Man. It is not working with the stacking effect of Star-Lord. Someone brought up to me that he believes it's only when fully stacked with Star-Lord, but that just becomes burn, not burn stack, unless Star-Lord's burn is slightly different than other burns, as it's 23 or 24%. I believe it's 24%, and that might be the differentiating factor between 20 and 24 is burn and burn stack. But this becomes a 27% burn, and it's a 2.3 second stun. As you saw from my video last week, stuns normally, they have to be guard broken to get stunned. But as you'll see right here, guard break medium, that's fine. Cannot guard means it ignores their guard break status. Does decent damage. If the enemy is already affected by burn or burn stack, stun. So it's always going to do damage, but if they're burn or burn stack, stun. If we look at the animation right here, summons, and then he kind of takes a while to do the whip. Well, obviously it's a chain, but if we take a look, he's summoned, stands there, thinks about it, and then chains. Its tracking's not as good as Icarus. It has a decent range. There's been some trolly, in my opinion, trolly Iron Man builds that try to make use of it. Black Widow can have some fringe uses, but I think Star-Lord already has other things he wants to look at with Donna Ports or whatnot, or Ultron. Ghostwriter's biggest issue is nothing of the ability scales besides just the flat damage. And putting him on your tray, you really want better than just attack and defense. Well, let's go over into Mordo, who's the same thing, EXP collection, and instead of attack defense, he's defense HP. So immediately, these two stats point out for Magic and Captain America. If we look over into the ability, everything scales. The damage and everything that he buffs scales. So if we talk about him, he increases the attack, ultimate gauge, and cooldowns. Its current cooldown. So it doesn't give you the cooldown stat, but current cooldown of skills. But only if it's Doctor Strange or Magic. If it's somebody else, he just throws some balls that do damage. Now, if we look at the ability itself, summons him, and then he targets you. This is similar to Athena. The range of the skill is similar to Athena's, where Athena comes down, does the initial AoE, but then raises her staff, and then that AoE is the area that she buffs. So Mordo only does the beam if you're within his range. That's the downside for him. But with the testing for Mordo, um, he's great if for his strange AFK farming and training grounds or whatever. You just Mordo on auto mixed with Doctor Strange's ultimate. It charges faster as you kill targets. So if you're killing wolves or whatever, his ult charges faster, and then you have overwhelming mana from Mordo. And then you're just always ulting as Strange, which can also have great effect in Omega War. Uh, Also done a lot of testing with magic, and in Omega War as well as Dimension Duel, magic really enjoys this. Why is that? So two reasons for magic to use Mordo in Dimension Duel or War. One, it allows her to almost instantly jump into Ultimate. And why do I say that? If you're using the bottom right middle red specialization that gives you ultimate gauge recovery when you use dark magic, initially start the battle with Mordo, and then use one or two dark magic skills with a high ultimate gauge recovery rate, you will very shortly afterwards jump into your ultimate, which you get hit this attack bonus immediately. But I actually prefer with magic the other way of doing this. So with magic, when you're already in Darkchild, the ultimate, you can use Mordo as you're doing your ultimate animation. And what that will do is, because the ultimate is already being drained, it will not give you the ultimate gauge. You have to time it correctly for this. If you time it too early, it gets wasted. If you time it too late, then you stay in Darkchild longer, which is not what you want. Magic gameplay, you want to be jumping in and out of Darkchild, but the idea here is you're going to be jumping into the battle with the attack bonus. You're going to waste the ultimate gauge, and then you want to click your first and third ability, put them on cooldown, and then get the cooldown reduction so you can immediately jump into using those abilities again in War. In Duel, you want to be using it the first way, where you ult within a couple seconds of the match. Now last, we're going to talk about Kasim. Now Kasim's interesting because his bonus effect and collection effect are both EXP gain, so you're not really going to gain much unless you're in training grounds with this. When you get him up to 6-star, you're looking at 38% EXP gain, which is nothing to laugh at. That's more than a lot of people have in total. But what do you get from Kasim? So exploit weakness. Most of you know that PvP decrease is one of the best stats you can have in PvP game modes, and this reduces their PvP decrease. And as you see, as you level it, it increases the amount that it lowers it by. And I did the testing. I put in a lot of questions, and you cannot overcap. What I mean by that is, if you have currently 7.5, so if you have 82.5% PvP decrease and you get hit by the level 1 Kasim, you do not still have 75%. Think of reducing with effects like this as reducing their cap, not their actual stat. If they're at max, it's reducing their cap. If they're lower than the cap, then it's reducing their current. It's nuanced, but I think you get what I'm trying to say. Also does okay damage, but let's look at the animation. So you summon him, he drops down almost exactly like Gilgamesh. I think he's shortly more delayed than Gilgamesh. If we take a look, it seems like the initial damage is the same as the stun for Gilgamesh, but then he does the PvP decrease. So in Dimension Duel, Kasim's not going to do a whole lot for you, because that little bit isn't as good as, let's say, even Ghostwriter, Daredevil, Icarus, things like that. Even Gilgamesh. But in War, if you're hitting good Gilgameshes, this can be not necessarily an upgrade to Gilgamesh. And why I say that is Gilgamesh's 5-star is super villain damage, so you effectively get the same thing as his XP gain, right? Because neither matter in the PvP matches. Um, but Kasim does slightly higher damage. They both are high guard break. Um, and this reduce PvP decrease can do great in a large AoE. So if you hit 4 or 5 people, it's definitely good. What you have to really pay attention to is that this does not say cannot guard. If we take a look at Gilgamesh, he does say cannot guard. Excuse me, he's highest guard break. So if you don't have status effect accuracy, I would lean towards Gilgamesh. But if you can't get specials, he is definitely your budget Gilgamesh. Let me know in the comments down below if this helped you at all, and if you would like to see me do a breakdown of all of them, like a tier list or something. Till next time, guys, and stay safe.